just making a quick video whilst I'm still sane enough to speak about power supplies in very early colour television sets. This is a transistor colour TV, and it uses chopper transistors and all sorts of other things, and it's quite complicated, and got voltage VDRs or thyristors or something. Very complicated, where you basically need a load on the power supply to be able to regulate it, which sounds a bit silly, doesn't it? I've been trying to chase out this power supply, figure out what's going on, and it's one of these designs where you basically, the regulation is done on this board, but for the regulation to happen, obviously, it needs a load. So you can adjust the preset control all you want. And actually, what happens is the unregulated volts go out of this cable, come down here, go on this smoothing cap, go on to something else as well, through the power resistor at the back. I don't know if you can see that. And then it comes back up, and then it comes to this fuse here, and then it comes out of the fuse and then goes through again the same cable, then comes back down and goes for a different section. Now, basically, if this power resistor fails, that it's a 3-section or 2-section power resistor, if it fails, basically the power supply stops, it can't regulate, so the voltage spikes up to something like 300 volts, which is being smoothed by this cap. Thankfully it can take the surge voltage that's on it, but my god, you do not want to touch it. And thankfully there is a bleed resistor on there. I've been trying to diagnose this fault because it's something where you have to have a diagram to be able to figure out what is going on. If I didn't have a diagram or a service manual, I would not be able to try and actually conk in my brain what the hell was going on. So I've been trying to... The normal way you do it is by reading the voltage on this fuse. Obviously, if that's not working, if that part of the circuit isn't working, you have to go straight off this diode, which is mounted on a heatsink. It is very complicated. This whole television receiver is very complicated. This is a Bosch A823 chassis dating from 1969, I think. This is the AV model, so perhaps it was made a year or so later. It's a revised version, I think, the later version, but it's all modular, kind of. Everything is connected via plugs and things, and the line output stage is very complex. We're talking very early colour stuff. Nothing's integrated. There's no ICs in here other than that of the decoder, which actually isn't one IC, it's 2. But the rest of it is done by discrete components and coils and things, and power resistors and transistors, and the line output stage consists of 2 very powerful switching transistors. And so this is obviously the time when transistors weren't powerful enough to power a line output stage. So you needed 2 of them to be able to drive the line output transformer. It's crazy. The set was going perfectly. Then we had no EHT, and couldn't figure out why. Anyway, the power resistor is open, so that will need to be replaced. I'm thinking of just shorting across it. It's only a couple of ohms, I think maybe 60 something ohms. It's more to reduce the current, but I had it on, I think, for about 30 or so minutes during the heat wave today, and my god, I'd left it alone for about 5 minutes to go and make myself a nice coffee. I came back and the thing was completely dead. Could you imagine the amount of heat that was in this thing? It's not needed a lot of work other than that, to be honest. But yeah, trying to work on this early stuff, man. It's I wouldn't want anyone to work on this type of thing if you aren't clued in and you don't have a service sheet. do not bother. You will not be able to fix any proper fault. You also need the service manual to properly set up the decoder. We're talking very, very early stuff here with a load of presets. You need it to set the thing up properly. If you don't have it, don't bother taking it on. Very easy set to get going initially, but yeah, man, this is early stuff. Does give you a bit of a headache. It's in really good condition, actually. No one's been inside it, from what I can tell, apart from me, and I've riddled it. The only things I've replaced really was, I think, one burnt out resistor, and these two smoothing caps, 25 volts per piece. I think they're 2000 mic caps, and the only reason I changed them was because we had a bit of a boo-boo on one of these, and again, I think that was probably my own fault. Yeah, man, this early stuff, I wouldn't want anyone to work on it, but you need service manuals. A lot of people seem to tackle this stuff blindly, and I understand it's hard finding service information, but something like this, you need a service manual. Right, well, that's my tip of the day. Use service information.